to our daily Bible devotions. We're still continuing our reflections on epistemology. And if you remember last time, we went to this conversation between Jesus and Pilate. In John chapter 18, Jesus said that you say that I am a king. In fact, the reason I was born and came into the world is to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me. We ended there. And then, but we noted that Pilate responded to that by asking, what is truth? So, last time we established that truth can be known. Pilate, a Roman governor, asked Jesus, what is truth? He wants it. He wants to know. But prior to that, we have to look at their conversation. And Pilate actually started by asking, are you the king of the Jews? And to which Jesus replied, is that your own idea? Jesus asked, or did others talk to you about me? What are we looking here? We're looking at Jesus before responding to the question about the truth. He asked about Pilate's intent. And sometimes when we want to know the truth, when we want knowledge, we have to step back first and ask ourselves, are we really willing to know? Are we really willing to handle the truth once we have it? Because, intention matters. Intent is prior to content. Before we go ahead and pursue something, are we sure we are ready for what we will discover? Are we sure we are ready to follow wherever the logic or wherever the evidence leads? And last time we introduced the concept of agnosticism. And agnosticism sits in between. Okay, agnosticism in its broader sense does not only talk about belief in God. It talks about belief in reality. Agnosticism says you cannot know the truth about reality. That's why you do not know. You do not know because you cannot know. There is no way for you to know. So, in terms of belief in God, agnosticism or agnostics sit in between theists and atheists. Okay, theists are those who believe in God. Atheist, that's why we have the prefix a or a, meaning rejection of the belief in God. If theist believes in God, atheist does not believe in God. Where does that put the agnostics? Agnostics claim that they cannot know or believe in God. There is no way for them to know. So therefore, they cannot. So atheist does not believe in God, but agnostics cannot know or cannot believe in God. But we have already established truth can be known. That's why we seek it. We are designed to pursue truth. And as we pursue truth, there are actually two theories of truth. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Two theories of truth: correspondence theory of truth and the coherence theory of truth. What's the difference between the two? Let's look again at this passage from 2 Peter, which we examined last week. Peter said, "For we did not follow cleverly devised stories when we told you about the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ in power, but we were eyewitnesses of His majesty." Here, he's clearly saying that he is an eyewitness. Whatever he believes, those are not cleverly devised stories because he was an eyewitness. He witnessed it. What he's saying is the things that he's saying corresponds to reality. And not only did he see, he also heard. He said, we ourselves heard this voice that came from heaven when we were with him on the sacred mountain. So clearly, the things that he's saying, the things that he's believing corresponds to what his eyes saw and what his ears heard. That is actually the correspondence theory of truth. It sits with that. Correspondence means that the statement that you're giving corresponds to what actually is, to the facts as they are. It fits the facts. If I say, I go back to this example again. If I say that there is a cup of coffee, here you see it, okay. If I say that there's a cup of coffee on my table, it corresponds to the fact that there really is a cup of coffee. It's not an imagination, it's not a hallucination. It corresponds to the facts as they are. That's the correspondence theory of truth. And then let's examine Peter's statement again. He said, we ourselves heard this voice that came from heaven. We were with him, with Jesus, on the sacred mountain. He continued. He said, we also have the prophetic message as something completely reliable, and you will do well to pay attention to it as to a light shining in a dark place until the day dawns and the morning star rises in your hearts. He's saying, you know what? Okay, we witnessed it. We saw it, we heard it, but if you don't believe us, why don't you go ahead and check the scriptures? Why don't you go ahead and check the prophetic message in scriptures, and you will see that that's reliable, and the things that we witnessed actually fits in that. This is actually where coherence theory of truth comes in. Correspondence is when the statement corresponds with the facts as they are. Okay, coherence is when all the facts are put together, they all fit together. When they are all presented, they fit together. It makes sense. They're like small pieces of jigsaw puzzle. When you put them together, there is a big picture. And this is very important, especially in a court of law. You probably saw this on TVs or in movies, that the lawyer asks the witness for small details, and then what they try to do is they look for some sort of inconsistency. They look for some sort of a lie, a blunder, something that will not fit in, and then they will destroy the whole picture because something does not fit in, something is not consistent, something does not make sense. There are some details that does not add up. That's coherence. Coherence is when you tell a story, when there's a narrative, everything fits together. You have a complete story. And we're designed to appreciate coherence, to look for coherence. When you're watching movies, you like the story to just make sense, especially in this time when the movies are all about universes, how all the stories connect together. And we appreciate movies that are so well made that another story really fits in with the previous story, and then another one fits in together. So that's coherence. Correspondence is the statement corresponds to the facts. It matches reality. Coherence is every corresponding statement. When you put them together, the narrative makes sense. Two theories of truth. That's how we test our worldview. The way we see the world, we test them through this coherence and correspondence. And we will talk more about worldview tomorrow.